8 phrases mentally strong people use to gain the upper hand when dealing with a manipulator. Manipulation is one of the most insidious behaviors that can occur in relationships, whether personal, professional, or social. Manipulators often use subtle psychological tactics to control, guilt, or guilt trip others into doing their bidding. For many people, it can be hard to see through the layers of charm and persuasion, leaving them vulnerable to being taken advantage of. However, mentally strong individuals have developed certain strategies that allow them to navigate these situations with grace, assertiveness, and emotional intelligence. One of their most powerful tools is their words. What you say can change the course of an interaction, shift power dynamics, and most importantly, protect your emotional boundaries. In this article, we'll explore 8 phrases that mentally strong individuals use to maintain control and gain the upper hand when confronted with manipulation. These phrases don't just serve to deflect, they also reinforce mental resilience, self-confidence, and clear communication. 1. I'm not comfortable with that. Manipulative individuals are experts at pushing boundaries and making you feel guilty or obliged to do something that doesn't align with your values. They might disguise their requests with false kindness or threats, but mentally strong people are adept at recognizing when something doesn't sit right with them. They trust their instincts and assertively vocalize their discomfort. When you say, I'm not comfortable with that, you're doing more than just rejecting an unreasonable request. You're setting a strong, unambiguous boundary. This phrase is a clear message that you will not tolerate behavior that feels manipulative or coercive. It also gives you space to reflect on the situation before making any decisions. By saying this phrase, mentally strong people send the message that they prioritize their emotional well-being and are not easily swayed. It's a powerful reminder that your feelings are valid and you deserve to be treated with respect. 2. I'll need to think about that. Manipulators often use pressure tactics to force you into quick decisions, creating a sense of urgency, guilt-tripping you into acting immediately, or making you feel like a bad person for taking too long to respond. In the face of such pressure, mentally strong individuals use the phrase, I'll need to think about that, as a form of psychological deflection. This phrase gives you the breathing room you need to evaluate the situation objectively. Instead of being manipulated into a rushed decision, you can take time to reflect on whether the request aligns with your values, whether it's reasonable, and whether it respects your boundaries. Mentally strong people are aware that making decisions in haste often leads to regret, and they understand that it's important to process their thoughts fully. By using this phrase, you also show the manipulator that you are in control of your choices, not them. 3. I see what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work. One of the most empowering actions when dealing with a manipulator is calling out their behavior directly. Manipulators thrive when they can operate in the shadows, employing deceit or guilt without being caught. By acknowledging their tactics, you diffuse their ability to control the conversation. Mentally strong individuals don't let manipulative tactics slide by unnoticed. By saying, I see what you're trying to do, but it's not going to work, you're addressing the situation head on. This phrase shows that you're not passive or unaware. You know exactly what's going on, and you are choosing not to engage with it. This approach disrupts the manipulator's strategy, forcing them to either back off or reveal their true intentions. It positions you as someone who is confident, aware, and unshakable, which often leaves manipulators with little ground to stand on. 4. That doesn't sound like a fair compromise to me. A common manipulation tactic is to disguise unreasonable demands as compromises. They may try to make it seem like a give-and-take situation, when in reality, you're being asked to give far more than you're receiving. Mentally strong people are skilled at recognizing when a so-called compromise is actually an unfair deal, and they respond accordingly. When you say, that doesn't sound like a fair compromise to me, you're rejecting the idea that you have to sacrifice your needs for the sake of someone else's agenda. This phrase helps you stand firm in your values and reaffirm your worth. You're asserting that mutual respect and fairness are essential, and you're not willing to accept anything less. By using this phrase, mentally strong individuals keep the conversation centered around fairness and equity, preventing the manipulator from twisting the narrative to their advantage. 5. I am responsible for my own feelings. Manipulators often try to shift blame onto others, making you feel responsible for their emotions. For example, they might make you feel guilty for their anger, sadness, or disappointment, using your emotions to manipulate you into doing what they want. Mentally strong people know that they are only responsible for their own emotional responses, not anyone else's. By saying, I'm responsible for my own feelings, you draw a clear line between your emotions and the manipulators. This phrase serves as an important reminder to both yourself and the manipulator that you will not accept emotional blackmail or manipulation. Mentally strong individuals recognize that their emotions are their own, and no one can force them into feeling something they don't choose. This phrase reinforces emotional independence and creates a shield against attempts to control or guilt trip. 6. I'm not going to argue with you. Manipulators thrive in conflict. They want to drag you into arguments, create confusion, and make you question your perspective. Engaging in an argument with them often feels like an endless cycle of frustration and emotional drain. Mentally strong people know when to disengage from these unhealthy exchanges. When you say, I'm not going to argue with you, you're effectively taking the power away from the manipulator. You refuse to be drawn into a useless back and forth that will only serve to weaken your mental and emotional state. This phrase sends the message that you value your peace more than winning an argument. By stepping away, you take control of the situation and prevent the manipulator from exploiting your emotions. 7. I trust my judgment. Manipulators often try to undermine your decision-making skills. They may question your judgment, try to confuse you, or make you doubt your abilities. Mentally strong individuals trust themselves and their ability to make decisions based on logic, values, and instinct. When you say, I trust my judgment, you are reaffirming your confidence in your own decision-making process. This phrase asserts that your thoughts and choices are grounded in confidence and experience, and no one else's influence can shake that foundation. This phrase also acts as a mental defense, allowing you to remain grounded and assertive. It prevents the manipulator from sowing seeds of doubt, while also demonstrating that you take responsibility for your choices without needing validation from others. 8. I think it's time for me to go. Sometimes the best response to manipulation is to simply remove yourself from the situation. Manipulators will often continue to push, guilt trip, and emotionally drain you, which can leave you feeling exhausted and vulnerable. By choosing to leave, you take back control. Saying, I think it's time for me to go, is a polite yet firm way to disengage from the manipulator without causing unnecessary drama. It allows you to exit the situation gracefully while maintaining your composure. This phrase serves as a reminder that you control your time, your energy, and your boundaries. If a person's behavior doesn't align with your values or well-being, leaving the interaction is a powerful way to protect yourself. Conclusion. Mentally strong individuals aren't immune to manipulation. Rather, they've honed their skills in recognizing and responding to manipulative behavior. They understand that words have power, and that by using certain phrases, they can maintain control, assert their boundaries, and protect their emotional well-being. By incorporating these 8 phrases into your vocabulary, you can better navigate challenging interactions with manipulators and keep your mental strength intact. Remember, manipulation thrives in silence and confusion, but your words can disrupt its grip. The more you practice these phrases, the more confident and empowered you'll feel when dealing with difficult people.